Hello, everyone. Welcome you all in one of the interactive session on how to create your own Java application. And we are going to create calculator using Java programming language today. So I'll quickly share my screen and then we'll begin. Let's start talking about the application calculator by Java programming. So as everybody knows that calculator is an application, right? So today we are also talk about some more brief broad view of what is an application development, prerequisite of like how to start development, application development in Java programming. We will also talk about some tools which are used for Java application development. Then we will see the implementation part you via coding. Then I will also tell you that how you will distribute your Java desktop application with everyone, so everyone can use your application. Then we will also talk about the maintenance and enhancement of your application. Right. So this is all. This is our agenda today. So how many of you have exposure of programming? Like how many know you the Java programming, the basics of Java programming? So in this particular program, I'm using Java JDK 17. It's one of the latest long-term support by Oracle. And so let's see, what is an application development? So application development is the process of creating a computer program which helps organizations or an individual to increase their efficiency. Right. So the thing is, you have to think about a problem statement where you can find out a problem statement and you can write a code for it which makes someone's life ease. No. So application is all about computer programs which helps the organizations for optimize their processes, as well as you can create a program for on any problem statement. So here you can see this is a roadmap of an application development where the very first phase is discovery phase, where you have to come up with a problem statement where you can write a code on it, right? If you able to manage discover the problem statement which makes someone's life ease, then accordingly we will do the planning on that particular problem. Then with then we will design our product. Then on the basis of design, I'm talking about basic UML and SDLC through which you can design your problem statement. Then we can start development via Java JDK, means via Java, and there are a lot of programming languages which are available in the market. Then we have to do the testing, and then later maintenance is always there, right? So this is actually a roadmap of any application development. So broadly, you have to think about a problem statement. Then accordingly, we can develop a program which helps someone's life ease. For if I talk about, because today we are actually talking about a Java programming, Java actually provides you the SDK. SDK is a software development kit, which so it's a developer tool basically that's enable users to write the code with ease, effectiveness, and efficiency wise. So you really don't have to think over like how the object will create in the memory, how where like in C there are a lot of problems no related to the memory management and all. Like in Java, you really don't face this kind of problems. You always have to focus on your business problem statements. In the SDK, you have all the libraries, all the um, all the classes which are available, which will help you to achieve the output. So Java always says that you always have to focus on your problem statements, and the code is ready. And through you can in SDK and package API library, you will get all the packages related to your problem statement, and you can straight away use them to achieve your desired goal. Right. So SDK is all about which we really need to develop any Java application. So guys, any idea, any problem, any questions related to this till now about the application development? Is this concepts clear to you all? Like what is application development and w- the basic roadmap of your application development? Like if anybody want to ask anything, please feel free to ask.
The concept
Oh,
is clear to Prabhat and Rishi. They have commented
okay,
in the chat box.
perfect. Thanks, Pativa, for the confirmation. Okay, let's move to the next slide where we will talk about the prerequisite, how to start an application development in Java. So as I told you earlier, that we really need an innovative ideas which helps the organization or individual for simplifying their complex processes. So we really need an idea, the first thing. And on for Java programming, basically for any desktop applications, you really need the very basics of Java programmings, like the loop, array operators, the concept of class, function, interfaces, and many more. So, and we need the tools to develop an application in Java for sure. So this is the only basic need. If you have these three things, you can straight away go and start developing your application um, via Java, right? So tools, what are the tools, basic tools which are required to start development in Java application? The very first thing which we need is IDE. IDE is nothing but it's an integrated development environment. It's a tool uh, which actually allows you to create a Java application effectively. There are a lot of tools which are available in the market. The very first tool in IntelliJ, IDEA, Eclipse, Spring Tool, Suite 4, and many more, NetBeans, right? You can use any. Uh, for any application, version control tool like Git is very important. Have you ever heard about the any version control tool before? Like Git, SVN, VSS, IBM ClearCase. There are a lot of tools which are available in the market, which actually allows you to do the version controls of your application code. Guys, any ideas about any version control tool or anybody like previously anybody used?
Yes, sir. GitHub.
Yes, okay, thank you. So the like in version control tool, there is very basic concepts of check-in, check-out, right? Commit, rollback, the concepts of branches and all. So whatever you develop will straight away commit our code in the branch. So later we can refer those. Like through version control tool also allows you to check the history where you can compare your code with the previous versions, and you can, if you want, you can roll back to the specific version and all. So that allows you to actually, as you can say, the control on your code, right? IDE allows you to a platform where you can develop your application. And so definitely we need the software development kit SDK in our machine to develop any Java desktop application. If you have these three things in your machines, you can straight away start developing. Uh, For initially, version control tool is also not needed, but always preferable. Like for your help later, you can easily um, verify your code if required, right? So let's see the real implementation. Okay, so this is the tool which I'm talking about. This is the tool that's look like. this Spring tool suite. I usually use this, and this is similar to Eclipse, which will allow you to create an application. So this is, I've already have the code in place, and this is a calculator. So before we jump to the application, let's talk about something which is the very basics of any application, where um, you- what we actually need is, we really need the UI, user interface, which will interact with your user, right? And the backend and the normal database. Normally, we will call this as a two-tier architecture application. But in Java desktop application, for
Sorry,
calculator specifically, yes, sorry.
sorry, sir. Actually, I want to know a difference between JDK and SDK. If I have JDK, then I can develop software development.
Yes, 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 JDK. JDK is actually
Java
required. So there are the two
development.
things, JDK and JRE, right? JDK is a Java development kit, and JRE is a Java runtime kit. So if you have for development, definitely you need JDK, and to run that particular application, you need minimum JRE in your machine. It's a Java runtime, and it allows you to run any Java application at any platform, like uh, on Linux machine or a Mac machine or a Windows machine. Doesn't make any difference. You just need GRE in place, and you can run any one of your application.
Sir, if I have JDK in our system, then I can develop software development kit, or it's necessary to download SDK.
No, there's no need to download SDK. If you download actually JDK, Java Development Kit, it gives you, you can say JDK and SDK is same, no? So actually, in command prompt, how you can check, so if you go to the command prompt, and here if you say Java hyphen version, it gives you like which version is installed on your machine. And if you say Java C, and if you press this, then it will say that you have JDK or SDK in place, where you can compile your Java code and run your Java code, right? So if you have the very basics ideas about the Java programming, as you all know, that your program, which whatever the program you have written, you have to compile your code first, and it will gives you the compilation file, byte file, which will you can run it through Java and your file name, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So that makes sense. Okay, so here, like through Java C, if you write Java C, you can check whether the SDK or JDK is installed on your machine. And Java version, you can check which version is installed on your machine, right? Okay, so this is the program. I'm using JDK 17, which also allows us to um, create modules, right? Modules is one of the new concept which is introduced in the later JDK 11 and above. Here you can define like from the whole package, which files are actually required, which package is actually required to develop the application. So for calculator, I really need only java.desktop package, which allows me to, which provides all the packages related to the Java desktop application, right? So this is the application. And as I said, for application, always UI is required, no? User interface from where user can interact. For Java desktop applications, here we are using Java Swing, which gives you, which allows you to create the components like the buttons, frames, text fields. These are the very basic components which are required to interact with, which allows user to interact with your application, right? If you want, I can show you this output straight away. If you run this particular application, it will gives you this output. This is the calculator which I have created. Um, And here you can see this whole UI. This whole UI is in swing. This is a text field, and this is a frame. So the outer body is a frame. Frame is just a container. In a container, with the help of the layouts, we straight away place this text field at the top, and then the rest of the areas we'll straight away place our buttons. Right. So this is how we develop the UI part. And whenever you click on any button, these all are event specific, where you can actually capture the user event, like users click on 3, 6, then users click on plus, right? 3 equals to, it gives you the output, right? So in this particular application, everything is functional. You can use plus, minus, percentage, and the basic operations. We'll see it later. Uh, so how should I develop this? How to start any application? So for that, what you need is you straight away go and click on new and a Java project. Here you have to provide project name, say my calculator, right? Here you have to define the JRE. JRE is a Java runtime environment. It's here I'm choosing Java SE17, right, to run this. And for okay, you guys are not able to see this part as well. Okay, now from here you can see the next button where you can click on next. This will give you the basic structure of your application. If you click this, it's asking you to whether you want to create a module info.java. If you just straight away say yes, I want to. So here you can see, okay, so this is your calculator. So this will gives you the basic structure there. When you go and straight away create a new project, it will come up with the src folder, where actually you have to define your packages and your classes in the specific packages, right? So package is nothing but it is a collection of your classes and interfaces. So if you see this class, this main class, which is the initial class, is in the package called com.arun.bhardwaj, right? Here we do have some packages which are required. So I simply import them. This is a main method from where you can start your any Java application. And in classes, we do have a concept of constructors. So this is my main constructor. Constructor is a place where you actually initialize all your member variable, right? So here what I did is I simply initialize the calculator UI. Calculator UI is a class, it's a different class, which will actually gives you the UI output, right? And how many you have know about the concept of MVC, model view and controller? Any ideas about? It's a basic architecture. So, like normally, if your frameworks like struts are based on MVC, model view and controller, right? Okay, so
Yes,
here, sorry.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay, you
So
have an
model,
idea.
yeah, it's a model view controller. There is a client, server, and database architecture.
Uh, Okay, so normally what we have um, one class is actually dependent on your view, which actually is responsible to create a view. The other class will responsible to manage the controller class, which actually manage all the actions which will place on your UI. Here in this case, I'm not using any model, right? Because here we actually need only the view part and only the controller part. So what I did is I have created two classes, and in Java 8 and above, we do have a concept of this functional interfaces. So I'm using the Lambda expression, the latest features of Java, where through this functional interfaces, we will operate all the basic calculation operation, right? We will not going to write each for the code for each and every operation. We'll straight away define it through interface. So we'll talk about it also. So here This is my main class. So as I explained, this is the basic structure of your any application. Here you have to define some packages. So here you go to the new, and you firstly you have to define a package. So I say this is my package. This is my main package. And here you have to define your classes, right? So here you can define your any classes. So how I've created a class, and through package, just simply right click, go to new and class. Here you will say main. Main is my class, and I want public static void main is one of the method which I need. So I straight away click. So this IDE, integrated development environment, this particular tool straight away create a class and a main method for me. So as you all know, this is my main method, and through system.out.println is a which allows you to write anything on console. So first of all, check whether your environment is in place or not. Just run and see the output. So here you can see your project structure is your environment is in place, and here you can compile and you can see the output of your application. Right? This is a very first step that you need to check. That means environment is in place. Now, through constructor, this is a main class, and every class have the constructor. So you can create a constructor straight away through this ID. You have to go to source, and you can say you can choose generate constructor using superclass. Okay, if you generate this, you will get the constructor. So constructor always call when you initialize any class, right? So this is my main method. You say new main, so it will straight away go here. Now from main, what you have to do is you have to what you have to initiate. You have to initiate the UI thing, right? So like I've created the UI here. This is my UI class, and here what I did is I straight away initialize this UI class. So if I go to this class, this is a different package in Arun.Bhardwaj.ui. Here we do have the package name is class name is calculator UI, and here what I have used is I have used the Java Swing components. Here you can see Java X dot swing dot buttons, the JFrame, the panel, the text field. Right? This is what I have used. And for the layouts, I'm using the AWT package, the grid back layout, which actually allows you to place the component properly. So here this is my class, right? And these are my member variables, right? These are the global variables. So initially for the application, what you have to need to develop a UI, and for UI we need a container. The JFrame is actually a container, Java Swing.jframe, which allows you to place the component. So JFrame is a container, and JPanel is also a container, right? So what we will do is JFrame is actually a frame. So if I open the output, right, this is the output, right? So here you can see this frame, no, cross button and minimize button. This is a frame. This is a structure, and the frame I simply place any header and the panel within the frame, and in panel we will place all the components. So this calculator UI class contains these components, these member variable. This is a control, this is my constructor where actually I've initialized all the variables, right? So this is my input and result field. This is my input and result field. And I have put some attributes to it. I will straight away say this is editable false because I won't allow users to enter anything in this particular field. So it is disable. It is only for display purpose. You can also use the label instead of text field, because text field is always preferable to take an input from a user, right? So, guys, like, okay, in our childhood, we normally used to play with the game called Logo. How many of you played with this game Logo? Yes, right.
Yes, sir.
So, in that particular package, what you will get all the components, means all the objects, and on the basis of your like how innovative you are, it's all about you. Like somebody is go and put some blocks and create nothing out of it. Somebody will create completely different um output, like so a car or a bus or aeroplane, right? So the SDKs also gives you the whole package of component and functions, and it's all up to you that how you will going to use that particular package, and what will be the output. It's all up to you, right? That what I'm trying to say is it's all your innovation, your mind, how you will think. So um, all the packages are there in the library, right? You just have to use them smartly, so you will get a proper and a different output. So as I said, I have used text field for some reason, but you can also use JLabel. I put some attributes, I put some font, and I straight away put the default value as a 0, right? And this is horizontally alignment text, right? So that's why this particular text comes over here. Otherwise, whenever you enter your name, it always start from the left hand side, right? But I want the output on the right hand side, so I have to um, means I have to explain to the SDK that I really need the alignment towards the right, not on the left. So every property have some default value. So default value is left. But for programming, for to develop this calculator, I need the label, the values should start from the right hand side, right? So for example, if I straight away and remove this for some reason, and if I run this particular class, what will happen? The 0 will start from the left hand side. So for each and everything, you have to explain to the program, right? Through coding. So leave it apart. Let's revert back this. This is a comment which I've put. So the program will straight away ignore that particular line. This is a single line comment. You can also put multiple line comments if you want to. Uh, how you will put, this is how you will put slash star this. So it's just straight away ignore these set of lines, right? Now what I did is I need the bunch of number buttons and I need some bunch of control buttons. So what I did is I straight away use the array list. I have not declared the buttons, how many buttons we need. So let me open. Okay, here we got our text field properly. The alignment is in place. So we need 0 to 9 buttons. We also need AC button to cancel all the operations, plus minus, percentage, the basic arithmetical operations, and the equal to and dot. Right? We need these buttons. So what I did is I straight away segregate these set of buttons in two different arrays. One array belongs to the number buttons, right? The another one related to the control buttons, right? This is an array of button. This is how you define. So what I did is I straight away initialize them, and here I have straight away called this set layout method. This is my private method. Uh, this particular method is actually responsible to create a layout. So here what I did is I straight away initialize Here I have initialized, and here I have straight away put some attributes. So here on the base panel, I straight away put the border layout. And in border layout, I straight away put this input text field on the top. Here you can see it will straight away. The remaining part of the particular panel, I straight away use grid back layout. Grid back layout allows you to place the buttons in place and like through XY position. So here, if you can see this AC buttons, XY position is 0 and 0. The plus button, plus and minus button will next to the AC button, right? So what I did is I straight away increase the X position. The percentage button will go to the next. So I straight away increase the X position. So this is how I've placed all the buttons in the panel. And at the end, what we did is we straight away in base panel, we will add the control panel and this frame panel, this frame, which is actually a main container, which is this. Here, what I did is I straight away put some attributes that anyone can close the operation on click on this close button, and nobody can resize this. This is resizable false. Else anybody can drag and increase the height and width of this particular frame. So I really don't want. So I straight away specify that this particular frame is resizable false. I have also specified the specific size, and I'm straight away say once the execution will happen on if the layout thing is done, then we'll straight away make this particular frame visible to the user. So what the program did is the program will straight away create this UI thing. So let's create this class in a new where in SRC new, and here we have to define another package. So here from here also you can define. So in this package, I have to define new package com.arun.bhardwaj.ui, right? In UI, I will define the classes which are actually responsible for UI only. So the class name is controller UI, calculator UI. So what you can do is you can straight away go and create a class. This is my calculator UI. And here, what we will do, I'll simply go and copy paste this whole thing. See, now see what happened. Everything is in red, right? Because in module.info, I have not defined anything. So it straight away gives me the error. And if you go over here, it will straight away this package AWT is not accessible because in module.info, I have not defined anything. So here, what I have to do is I have to say required java.desktop. Let's copy this. Requires java.desktop. Once I define this, here you can see all the errors are gone, right? But this controller calculator controller is not in place, so you are actually seeing the errors. Let's commit this out for now, because so this is how. So what all things are in place? Your main class, which actually initialize, and your UI. So as of now, what we develop, we just straight away develop. So let's run this program. So here you can see from main method, it will straight away call the constructor. And here you have to initialize your calculator UI, right? So when you actually call your calculator UI, it straight away call its constructor, which is here, right? Here we actually initialize all the variables, all the required variables. We will call out a private method set layout method, which will straight away create a layout for us. And here what we did is we will straight away visible allow set expecting the UI will come. So from this main class, if you straight away go and test, so take a baby steps, no? So step by steps. So here you can see your a calculator UI is in place. But if you click on this, nothing will happen because events are not in place, Nothing will happen. It's just a UI. So what will your next step? Your next step will be you can customize anything. Like for in UI class, if you want to change the header, you can change the header where you have initialized the frame uh, here. So this is if you want say no, I want my calculator. So this is my calculator, right? So now if you um, now if you run this, it will say my calculator, right? But here there's no space, so that's why it comes with triple dots. It's all up to you. You can do whatever you like. So if you want allow users to make your frame resizable, if you if you will not put this thing in place, resizable false, then what will happen? Uh, so let me close it down. And through main class, you can again initialize run as Java application. So here, from here, you can simply drag and resize, no, your calculator. So it's all up to you. You want a big calculator, you can make a big calculator as well. If you want a small calculator, it's all up to your thing. If you want something different that you want to also place the logs, what you can do is you can put the text areas at the bottom, and on event buttons you have to write a code which will straight away populate the logs for you in the particular for the users in the text fields. uh, you can think the way you want. So like in calculator, if you think that if this features if this feature is available in the calculator, that will make someone's life ease. Like in normal applications we do have the concept of day and night thing, no, which will make everything in black and white. If you want, you can provide some toggle button over here. On the buttons click, you will straight away change the UI. You will provide multiple themes to it, right? If you want to add, you can add more buttons to it and add more features to it. It's all up to you. So think and develop your own calculator UI thing. So the what I'm trying to say is like initially what we did is we need a main class, we need a UI in place. So our UI is in place. So now what next we need is we need a controller class which will control all these functions. So always create a specific package and specific class, right? So here what I'm going to do is I will create another package. Instead of UI, I will say controller, which is responsible to control all the UI components. So here I do have only one UI class, so I will create a my controller class. So my controller class is calculator controller. So here in the package, you can define your controller class. So my controller class is empty as of now, right? Nothing is there. So the very basic things what we have is so first of all we have to initialize a call a controller class. So from where, see here it is an exception, right? Because we don't have the constructor is in place. So here what we have to do is you have to call a constructor. So through source here you have to choose generate constructor using fields. uh, I don't have any field in place, but yes. Okay, so this is a main basic constructor, but what I need to control the UI thing, right? So what I have to do is I have to create an object of a controller UI, sorry, calculator UI, and you can say anything to it, view, and we will initialize this object via which UI we need? We need this controller UI which we have created. So what we will do is we will pass this particular view, and here what I did is this dot view equals to view. So what will happen? Um, did you understand what I did is construct calculator controller. I straight away pass this controller UI class to this constructor, and this constructor will initialize this object. So what I'll get is I will get all the buttons. But how I will get all the buttons? For that I need to create the getters for it, not setters. What I need is I need the buttons. So here I have created some getter things. So get number buttons, get controller buttons, and get input and result field. That means my text field. So I have created the getters. So for getters, what you have to do is you can straight away use this ID here from, for example, I don't have the getters for text field, right? So here through source, generate getter setter. If you click this, it will allow you to choose. I want to create a getter only for this input and result field. And if I click on generate, it will straight away create a getter for me, right? So let's see what I have written over the controller UI class. This is my class. Let's copy this whole class to your controller UI, controller calculator, right? What what are all the others? Here's the math operation. So math operation is a functional interface which I have created, which is actually responsible for doing the calculation, the basic calculations. This is my UI, right? So let's remove the dependencies of the math operation as of now. So it will give you a lot of errors then in that case. Uh, okay, I have to place that one as well. Uh, so this is my controller UI calculator. Hmm. This is the math operation which is in the controller only. So let's copy this and put it along with the controller. So all the exceptions are gone. So this is my interface. This is an interface which have one abstract method called operation, which returns me the double, means the output, and what we are going to operate on two variables, a and b. So we will add a plus b, a minus b, a multiplied by b, right? The basic operations. So we need two variables, and we will return the output as a double. So here this is only an interface. It's an abstract method. Here we are not defining the operation, means what we are going to do in this particular method. Where actually we will define it over here. I'll explain it later. So let's see. This is my controller UI, calculator UI, and here I need a UI to control. I need a math operation, means interface which will where we will define the basic operations. We need two variables, right? These are all private member variable of this class. And for some logic, we need to determine this that this control buttons are clicked or not, right? So some variables to just play some logic, right? Now in this constructor, initially what we did is we straight away initialize a view, right? In view we do have some getter setters. So view dot get, you will get so here in the line number 33, you can see view dot get input and result field dot set text value. So it straight away put the value in the particular text field. So through view, you will get all the action buttons. And in swing, as we know that this particular UI doesn't have any operations in place. No events are in place right now. That is one of the reasons we have introduced a new class, which is our controller class, calculator controller class, and we will straight away initialize through the view constructor. Any questions so far? Any doubt in this till this part?
No problem.
Nothing. Okay. Fair. So for the calculator, we have a UI in place. Now, because nothing is working as of now, so we will straight away create a controller class. This is a controller class. And in controller class, what we will do is we will straight away from view, we do have the array object of buttons, number buttons. So we will say what we'll do is what we did is simply view dot get number buttons, and through for each operation we will iterate all the buttons, put the action listener in place, right? And here what I did is I simply check. Let me. I simply check that if it is equals to 0 or is controlled, then I have to put the get text, else I have to put the text which is already there in the particular text field plus the another text. So what is this is simply let's run this. Um, uh, so from your new calculator class, if you straight away go and click here, you will get the calculator, right? Now if you say 36, so in the text field, what you will get 3 and 6, 36, right? So this particular line of code, what it does is straight away check if the value is 0 and if is control button clicked for some reason. So in that case, you will straight away add the text field. So button dot get text will returns you the number 3 and 6. It is there. No? While you define a button, you will give some label. So through get text method, you will get a text. So this particular operation, this gives you the logical output true or false. On the basis if it is true, then you have to execute this line of code. If it is false, then you have to execute this line of code. So line number 31, what it does, it straight away add a value. So it is 0 right now, right? So if I press 3, it will straight away remove the 0 and place 3 in place. Now, in this particular condition will not gives you the true outcome. So if you press the another button, it straight away go to the this line, and then you will get the output in the value object, and you will straight away put the value in the particular text field, right? So this is how it works. So if you have any doubt, you can always debug your code as well, right? So debugging is also very important factor from where you can see what is going on in your program, right? So we'll see the debugging part later. So here, when you click on this plus button, so here what we did is we will simply put the action listeners on the control buttons, and we will call the execute action, and we will pass the whole button as an parameter. This is my execute action button. So here, what we have how you will determine that which button is clicked. So what we did is we will straight away get the get text from the button, and we will check through if conditions. In programming, you can also put switch cases, but here I have used the if conditions. So on the basis of the labels which are there on the buttons, we will determine which button is clicked, and accordingly we will execute the operation. Like if AC is clicked, AC button is clicked, then what we did is we will straight away call reinitialization method. What this method does, it straight away, line number 66, you can see it straight away put the 0 first, 0 in place, and what it does, it straight away say the first value and the second value, which is my two boolean math number variable. through which I determine whether the first value is initialized or not. So I simply reset both. So that means I simply say refresh, no, reset. And if any buttons clicked, so what we will do is we will say initialize value. Initialize value is again a method. So here what we did is because we have to do operations on float value or double value. So I've straight away, and this particular text field actually gives you the output as a string. So these are the methods. Again, there are a few classes which are available. Double is a wrapper class, which actually parse the double value, means it's convert the string value into a double. So this A and B both are the two types. These are the what types of variables are these? These are the double variables, and the text field actually gives me the output from as a string. So what I have to do is I have to convert this. So I have simply convert the string into double and initialize the variable A. If A is initialized, then I have then it goes to this else block and straight away initialize the B block. So this is a common method which is called, and it is responsible to initialize the two variables, two required variables, which are the input for the operations. This is a like you always have to these are the Java docs. Like through, I will explain the what is Java docs, but through this way we actually gives the what is this method is all about. So you have to explain. You can write about the method over here in the Java docs. So here you can see this initialize value is called when any operations buttons happen. So if I say 25 plus, so once I click on plus, it straight away initialize the first value 25 to variable A. And if I say 6, then if I press equal to button, so equal to button goes over here, uh, this one, and which actually calculate the operation. Operation is what? These are the operations. So here I have used the lambda expression. And the lambda expression, what we did is this is A and B are my input variables. And after this arrow, I have actually explained the operation part, A plus B. So what I have to do is if plus button clicked, I have to do the operation plus additional operation. If it is minus, then I have to do A minus B. If multiplication, A multiplied by B, and division for A divided by B. So here I have to define the operation. This is my interface, right? And I straight away pass this interface to this method. So what calculate method does it straight away uh, call this operate method, and operate method straight away applies this operation which is passed. So if A plus button clicked, it straight away do A plus B. If minus button clicked, it straight away do subtraction, right? So this is only 3 lines of code. So as you can see, through lambda expression, it makes a life easy. So you always have to check which operation is clicked, and you have to on equals to button you have to pass. So I have clicked 25 plus 6. It straight away gives me the output 31. So in here also, what I did is in calculate method. First of all, through view means I straight away ask for my text field, and I will put the output of the operations to this particular text field. Now, my text field always expecting the result in the um, in string, right? And my operation actually gives you the output in double. So again, you have to convert the double output into the string. So here actually I'm transforming the string as well as I'm converting the string and through string dot value of and pass it to the text field to show the result, right? What this particular transform string method does is it straight away uh, o- okay, 0 dot equals split. Okay, if you say zero 5. That is actually 5, not 05, right? So to transform that kind of string, I straight away use this basic simple logic. So for each and everything, you have to make sure there should be some method which will do the operations for you as per your requirement, right? See, for negative and positive values, so for 5, for example, if I say 5 and I want to say minus 5, so this plus 1 minus button, this method is actually responsible to make the value minus 1. So here what we have to place, we just have to place the minus at the initial level. So this particular method is responsible for. If I say plus minus 5 plus 6, so it straight away gives you 1, right? So the your basic mechanism, this particular mechanism, lambda expression mechanism, this particular method will execute and gives initialize your values to a and b and operate this operations on them, right? uh, so any questions so far, anything which anybody want to ask?
Sir, there is a make value negative. It's a predefined method.
No, no, it's not a predefined method. This is a private method, and this is my customized method. And
Okay.
from this method, what I need is I simply put this minus value right here. So
Yeah.
what we did is we straight away, like on line number 156, here you want to get the value. What is the value exist? If the value is not equal to 0 and it contains minus 1, so we will straight away substring it, the value. Else what we did is we will straight away put the minus here, right? So
Okay, sir.
let's
Okay.
okay, let's debug this. Okay, so for example, close this down. Through main, instead of run application, you have to say debug application, debug Java application, right? Okay, so here's your calculator again. If you say 5, okay, straight away go over here. Some debuggers are already in place. Let's run them. Okay, if you say 5 and put on minus, so it straight away go over here, right? And through F6 you can move further. So in value, you can see the value is 5, right? Now here we are checking if the 5 is not 0, it straight away go to the to in this particular block. Here we will check whether this value contains minus or not, because it's a string, no? So here you can see, so it gives you false. So if it gives you false, it straight away go in the else block, right? Here what we did is we will straight away in value 5, we will straight away put minus, right? Through plus operator, through concatenation, and we will again initialize this value. And here what we did is we will straight away put this particular value, the new value minus 5 to the text field. So as of now, you can see this 5 only. If you move further and run this whole, it will set the value minus 5. This is my custom method. It is not predefined. Nothing is predefined. This is all objects. You have to write your code as per your need, right? So this is what I need. So for single dot also I have put my private method to put on. So you can do the operations like 25.5 plus 36.6, and you can say it will straight away give you 62.1 as an output. So if you click twice or thrice, see, this is happening. It should not be happening. No. So this is a bug in your application. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that value contains dot. Then only you have to put the dot. So if I say 25 dot dot, this is not the right way. So you have to stop the users to place this dot thing. So here, why it is not working, so you can debug and you can fix this thing. But this particular add single dot method is responsible to put the dot with the value, right? So any questions so far as of now? Okay, fair. Now let's, so this is how, as you can see, I've used only the view and the controller part. View is responsible to create the view thing, UI, and the controller class is responsible to do all the operations. So here we do have some private methods and which will execute all your operations. So you can see the output, right? But what
Sir,
if, yes, please.
sir, it's a desktop app development.
This is a desktop application development. Through Java, you can develop different type of application. Web applications also you can
Yes.
develop.
Yes.
So in web applications, you will get an output as a WAR file, right? So there you have the presentation layer, the service layer, and your database in basic in two-tier architecture. This is calculator. You can also develop the calculator as a UI web calculator, right? It's not necessary that you will you will create a desktop application. It's all up to you. So if on internet, if you say online calculator, so here you can also see this calculator is already in place. You can also do operations over here. This is a web calculator. So through Java also you can develop a web calculator as well, right?
Yes.
So in Java we do have the JSPs in place, which will allow you to create a web application, web UI thing. So through basic HTML you can create a layout, and through JavaScript you can perform your basic operations. You can create your static, there's no need for Java, and you can straight away create your calculator through your basic HTML and your JavaScript also, right? If you need Java to operate those, so that you can place your servlet, right? Or you can use any framework like Spring framework or a Struts framework. So there you have to interact, your UI should interact with your backend, and um, the operation should happen.
Yes.
Okay,
Got it.
so
Thank you.
fair. So here, till the part what we learn is like what is how to develop a calculator desktop application basically, and I've used this swing thing. Uh, Now you like you have developed some calculators, some different which have a different features to it, and you want that everyone can use this particular calculator. So what for that what we have to do is we have to know how to distribute your program, Java program which you have written, right? So for that what you have to do is you straight away go file, means your IDE also provides you the tools. You just have to export. Here you have to choose runnable jar file, means executive jar file. Click on this. Here you have to choose your class. Here you have to choose the destination. Here this is library handling. There are three options which says that your additional jar, which are required gel, should be a part of your jar, or you want to extract them as in the library folder, right? And you just simply click on finish. If you click on finish, it straight away gives you the output as a, and if you go to the desktop, your calculator, you will get this. So on, so if I remove this and create the output again, export this and finish. See, okay, desktop, my desktop, this, okay, it is there on the desktop itself. I want the output in the calculator folder. So if I say in this calculator folder, I want the output. I straight away define the export destination path and click on finish. Here you will get on 28th 6 and 11:13 a.m. you will get the new jar file. So through command prompt, you can run this particular jar file at any time. You can see this is only 16 KB of jar file. You can straight away share with everyone, and those who have the JRE in place, they can straight away run this. So through command prompt also you can run. So you just have to open your command prompt, and for jar file, there's a command called java-jar and calculator.jar. If you press this, it straight away gives you the output. This is sorry. So this is the output of your class program, right? Now, but nobody knows Java. Like somebody who is not familiar with the programming and he really don't want to type java-jar calculator.jar on this on the command prompt. What you can do is you can straight away create a bat file. Bat file is a batch file. This is so any text field. What you can do is any any class, any file, say my calculator, my calculator. Instead of txt, the extension will be .bat, right? Now, in this particular, this is a normal basic text file. So if you want to add it, you can straight away open it through Notepad, or if you can straight away do like this, open this file and put the command over here for java-jar calculator.java. The same command which we have. So through CMD, what you have is Java F1 jar calculator.jar. So you have to copy this whole thing, and in this here you have to just place it and just save it. This is a text field. This is not executive one, right? In Windows, I'm talking about. So we don't need the command prompt anymore. What we can do is we can straight away rename this text file to your bat file, and when somebody click on this, it straight away open the calculate command prompt, run your command, and straight away you can see the basic output. If you close it down, command prompt will also close, right? If you close the command prompt, your application will also close. So this is how you will create the output, and you can share your any desktop application with anyone along with the batch file, or you can also sign your jar, and you can also create executor jar file. And once the users double click on it, it straight away open your program, right? This is how you can distribute your jar file. Okay, let's see. And so after distribution, the very important part is maintenance and enhancement of your application, right? This is very important part. So if anybody is aware of Robert C. Martin, it always says that it is not enough for your code to work. It is not necessary that if your code is working, it's fine. It's not enough, because if every bug is difficult to fix for you for some reason, and your every change is very difficult, will be very costly for you. So in that case, if your code is unmaintainable, it will be it will comes as a it's what I'm trying to say. It's really doesn't matter that your code is working fine. Your project will later or sooner will fail if you will not follow the basic rules of your programming, basic standards, right? I'm talking about the standards. That means you have to write that code which is maintainable, right? So the very first thing which will help you is like a good version control tool. Like I always prefer Git, right? You can also use SVN and other tools which are available. You can also use some specific tools like the Jira, which is available in the market, which actually is allow you to manage all your user stories, your requirements. It will also helps you to manage all your bugs and releases, right? So always use those tools, which will make your life easy. And while coding, you always have to follow the basic principles. I'm talking about the basic principles like solid principles. Solid principles are the basic principles. Please spend some time on these particular topic. Here, in a broad view, this stands for the single responsibility principle, which says that your class should always have a single responsibility to. Like what we did is we will create a UI class, which is actually responsible for um, the UI part. For controller, we will develop another class. You can also club all the functions in one single class and your output will also the same. But you always have to follow the basic principles. So spend some times on solid principles. There are few design patterns which are there in Java. Please go and go through them. So through which you can write a better code, right? And TDD is a test-driven approach, so that your application, you always have to follow the TDD approach, will always help. And the refactoring is a very important factor. Of like you always have to give some time to refactor your code. Otherwise, yeah, it will end up with the technical debt, right, in your application, and sooner or later your application will fail for sure if you will not continuously do the refactoring of your code. If it has become unmaintainable, then it will fail for sure. And this thing this technical debt, why technical debt will happen in our application is because of the two reasons. The one reason is the code fragility. The code fragility is a tendency of a code which will break in many places if you make any changes in one class. So you always have to make sure that if you change somewhere, it will not affect anywhere else. So l- basically, your application, your component should be loose coupling. Huh? Anyway, the second one is code rigidity. Code rigidity is a tendency of which will difficult to change in an application, even if it is a simple way, if it is a simple change. But if the code rigidity exists, then you can't make the simple change easily in your application. It will break your application different places. So you have to use your solid principles. You have to write the code properly, which is maintainable code, if I can say. So this is a prism. Sorry, this is the way you have to follow. The first thing, you have to make sure that you know the basic principles, solid principles, while writing a code. Please apply a proper design pattern, which will make your life easy for sure. In your application, whenever you develop, always use this TDD approach. And on the very and like, please do refactor your code timely. So that will helps you a lot. Right. Okay. So while developing this particular application, this calculator application, I also found some you can consider as a bug, or you can say a different behavior of the different application. So let's try this out. If I say this is a calculator, no? Everyone have their mobile in their hand.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So can everyone please open the calculator application in your mobile?
Yes, sir.
Right. So what I'll do is I will straight away open few things. One is the desktop calculator. Everyone can see the desktop calculator on my machine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We will also open the Excel file, which is the Microsoft Excel, which will also which also allow you to do the basic operations, right? So we will compare this with this and your mobile, which is in your hand. So let's do a very basic operation. If you say 2 plus 3 multiply by 6. Do this operation. 2 plus 3 multiply by 6.
20.
You will get 20. But if I do it over here in the desktop application, you will get 30. Right? Because your mobiles actually do the BODMAS thing, right? It will, if it in one single equation, it straight away apply the BODMAS rule, and on the basis of the BODMAS rule, your mobile gives you the output as 20, but your desktop app standard calculators gives you the output as 30, right? So the difference. Now cancel this, cancel all, and say 3. Press in your mobile 3 and percentage. What you will get as an output?
0.03.
0.03. But if I do the same operation on this desktop app calculator, 3%, it straight away go to 0. I can consider this as a bug, right?
So bug is in our mobile app or
In the desktop calculator. So in the desktop calculator, if I say 3%, it straight away make it 0, and your calculator says 0.03.
yeah, what is-
Right. Now let's do a different next operation. So if I say 2 plus 3%, do the same operation on your mobile. 2 plus 3%,
2.06.
2.06. But if I do the same operation on say OneNote, OneNote is also there, right? Let me open my OneNote. I'll take another new file. Everyone can see. If I say, I'll make it big, little big. 2 plus 3% equals to, if I press enter, it straight away say 2.03, not 2.06, right? But in our calculator, it say 2.06. The basic math operation, no? 2 plus 3%, 3% means 0.03. If you add 2 to it, this one note says it should be 2.06, 2.03, but calculator says 2.06. If I try the same operation over here, equal to, let me zoom, okay, equals to 2 plus 3%. Okay, it says 2.203%. No, this is you have to use this format cell, and you have to choose a general, right? If you choose a general, it's this formula equal to 2 plus 3%. In Excel file, it always says 2.03, but in our calculator, it says 2.06 in both your desktop calculator as well as your mobile calculator. So see, you can see the different results of the same operations in different application, right? This is all programs which are developed by someone, right? So during the testing of my application, I found these few scenarios uh, where I see actually the difference between all three applications: my mobile app calculator, my desktop calculator, as well as this Excel tool, which is there in our machine. And with these three operations, I found the different outputs, right? So you always, whenever you try to develop any application, think what all applications are there in the market. Always think what the new thing which you can add to it, to this particular application, which makes someone's life more easy. So if I talk about this BODMAS thing, there's a different opinion from everyone. So someone says that it's a very nice thing. It's a smart way of do the calculation. Somebody says, no, I really don't want the BODMAS thing. I need a basic standard calculator. No, it's all up to the depend on someone who is using our application. So this is what I have to share with you all, guys. If anybody have anything to ask, please feel free to ask.
Yes, hi Arun.
Yes.
Yeah, Arun, I understood the concept of a calculator,
Hmm.
but after building the application,
Hmm.
so we want to update in a real-time platform, so as a user can use it. So in which way we need to update in a online?
So it's all depends which kind of application you're using. As I said, this if it is a desktop application, you can straight away share this jar file and the bet file the way I have explained to anyone, and whoever have the JRE in place in the machine, they can straight away use your application. If it is your desktop application, and for that you definitely need some server to get it deployed. Now these days you can straight away deploy on the cloud itself. Like a lot of all the clouds will provides you the free hosting thing, right, where you can deploy your application.
Okay.
Right. So on browser, anyone can use the URL and straight away use your application, whatever you have developed.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Thank you.
So it's all depend on the basis of application.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome. Okay. Later I will upload this code on Git, and if anybody want to refer this code, feel free to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I will update.
Yes, sir.
I will update this
Please,
code on
please,
Git.
please upload.